Hi, I'm Kelly Vaughn and welcome to Inside Indy. And today we're going to talk about a very special organization that serves those who are disabled in our community. And you know, here on WHMB TV 40, we do our best to be a part of those efforts in the community. We have a television show called the National Federation of the Blind with Lee Martin and Florence McSwine. And they may very well be the only blind talk show host in the country on television.
That's wonderful.
So we love being a part of what they're a part and getting their message out. And so we have here to get her message out is Christina Sorensen. And you are the president and CEO of Janus Developmental Services.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Now you're located here in Noblesville.
Yes, we are. We are on Highway 32, just a little bit west of Noblesville.
All right. So tell people about Janus, what you do, and how you make it all happen.
Okay. Well, we're actually celebrating our 40th anniversary this year.
Oh, nice.
And Janus provides services to adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And our mission statement is to provide individuals with disabilities the opportunity to participate and contribute within the community. And this is like a mission that we all just take to heart. All of our staff really does so much to ensure that we fulfill that mission. At our facility in Noblesville, we provide day services. We have about 160 people enrolled in our services. And the services are kind of divided into two components. One is called work experience, and the participants in that are actually allowed to do things where they earn money. So they've got an income that they can earn, and they do various types of things to earn that. We have contract work that we do. It's like, it might be light assembly, it might be putting things together. We have one product called Linnea's Lights, which is candle making. And what we do for that company is we get the glass jars that the candles are made in, we clean them, make sure there's no defects in those, and then we put the wicks inside of them before we ship them to this company in Carmel where they finish the process of making the candles. But we also have a program called the Capabilities Cafe. We have a cafe located in the Judicial Center in Noblesville, and there we sell breakfast items, lunch items, and just snack items. So it's a great way for people who want to learn food services skills to practice those skills and learn about the different types of responsibilities that are in that field. And we also have a component called Hidden Talents, where we make more of like your artistic types of products. We make birdhouses out of gourds, and they might be sold at places like Market District, some of the state parks, various locations throughout the county and state. And that was kind of formed when we didn't have work like brought in by other companies, so we kind of developed that on our own, and it's something that's just really taken off and given people a chance to do some other skills. And then in addition to work opportunities that we provide at our facility, we have another program called Doorways. And in the Doorways program, the clients who participate in that can kind of choose to develop some of their own personal interests a little bit more. We have options like gardening. We've partnered for years with the Indiana Master Gardeners. And it's just a great opportunity to work with people out in the community and learn gardening skills and just do different things like that. There's also cooking, there's fitness. We have a fitness room within Janus, but then we also will take outings to various locations throughout the county. We do a lot with the Noblesville Athletic Club, we do things at the Monon Center, and just provide our participants a chance to get fit, because that's something that's a challenge. I mean, not just for us, but for them as well. So, you know, again, something we all have in common, right?
Right. So now when you started off, you said intellectual disabilities, and you said something else.
Developmental disabilities.
Okay, so can you define what
There's a lot of different diagnoses that will fall into that. Like, you know, you have autism, you have forms of cerebral palsy, just a variety of things. A lot of people with Down syndrome, and sometimes like people will have combinations of different diagnoses. And we try not to really focus on what like those labels might kind of be, and just kind of focus more or less on what our people who come can do, you know, trying to focus on the actual abilities they have versus what might be classified as a disability. So,
so this, what you do, and especially with the work experience, you're nullifying the myth that they are not able to do this.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. We try to focus on, the real positive sides. And because I always think of it as, everybody has something that maybe they would like to improve upon or they wish were different about them. I mean, I wear contact lenses, my vision isn't perfect. So, if I didn't have that to enable me to see, I could be considered disabled in that sense.
I'm with you.
Se.
We wouldn't be able to drive. Okay?
Yes, and so I think, so many times if somebody has what's visible as something that, sets them apart, you have to look beyond that and see what other qualities that they have, and it's just something in your perspective, really.
Okay. So what is the reaction of those who participate in the program, who have these challenges, but they get out there and they get to work, and they, whether it's something that they make or something that they sell? What's the reaction?
Kelly, it is just amazing because when you see the pride that our participants have in the work that they're completing, their excitement about the paychecks that they receive, and just their ability to say, I made this, I earned this. It's just kind of puts things into perspective for you, because so many times we take things for granted, that we can just do so many different things, and we don't realize how lucky we might be to have a job or to be able to earn an income. And when you see somebody who does not take that for granted and views it as a really good opportunity, it just shows you how much that might mean to your life. Because I think a lot of times when we meet people, it seems like one of the very first questions we will say is, well, what do you do? As if that's kind of like the key definition of what you are as a person. But and so when we have the opportunity to provide the people that we serve a chance to earn money and to kind of play into that role of society that we all just kind of almost immediately assume, that's really a great thing. But one thing that I have found too at Janus is you have these kind of preconceived notions or things that you find that you're comfortable doing or not comfortable doing. At Janus, we have what is known as a Summer Fest every year, and it's a day where everybody kind of takes the day off from work, and we do a lot of fun things. There's usually a lot of water games, different things like that. Lunch is served by a lot of volunteers, and then in the afternoon we have a disc jockey come in, and there's a lot of dancing all afternoon. I'm not a person that's very comfortable dancing out in public, But the very first year I was there, everybody's like, come on, Chris, come join us. And I was like, okay, I'll come. And I was dancing with one of our clients, and she was awesome, one of the best dancers. I'm like, wow, you've really got these steps, you're doing great. And she just kind of looked at me and she said, it doesn't matter how you dance. The thing that matters is that you're here with your friends, you're having a good time with the music, and that's what matters. And it just made me think, wow, who's the smart person here,
Right.
And so that was kind of one of those moments that just really taught me a lot.
Then that says that we underestimate those who have challenges?
I think so. Yeah. And one thing, we are always trying to come up with just new programs and services, because we're very committed to trying to find different opportunities and different choices that we can offer, because I think that's one thing that people really appreciate about life, is being able to make choices. And so last year we actually initiated a literacy program, and we received some grant funding, so we were actually able to create a special area within our building for literacy. We've got some comfortable couches, we've got some bookshelves, and we thought, well, this is going to be really fun, and it's had so many benefits. We found sometimes when people come to Janus, sometimes some people might be having a bad day and they might be having behaviors that might be escalating. And we found that sometimes they'll just go to that literacy area, take a few books off the bookshelf, sit down, flip through them, and all of a sudden that energy towards a behavior out of control is just kind of being focused, and it's just kind of drifting away, and they're coming back to a really good place, and so they can enjoy the rest of their day.
And that same principle really applies to anybody. Again, we were saying we're all the same.
It certainly does, yeah. And then so with that literacy program, one thing that was really fun this year, we received a special grant from the Indiana Humanities Council, was called Novel Speaker Conversations. And what that allowed us to do was to bring an Indiana author and host an event. And so we held it at Janus. We had an audience of about 100.
Wow.
And the author, Sarah Gerkensmeyer, she's, I believe, from Greenwood. She came, she did some reading for all the audience, and then she led everybody in some writing exercises. And afterwards she said, you know, I teach and my students are never quite as engaged as these people are. But then afterwards too, there was a representative from the Indiana Humanities Council, and she shared with me that they had never once given funding to an organization like ours, like serving the population that we do.
Okay.
But she thought it was going to be a great thing because it was kind of opening up their eyes to what the people we serve are capable of and can enjoy. So I'm thinking, you know, hopefully we're changing the world a little bit through that alone.
Okay. And you talked about changing the world. It's amazing. You always set me up for a good transition. So how should the world see those with the disabilities, the intellectual abilities or inabilities? And I'm not saying that to label them, but just to make the point so you understand what I'm asking.
Right.
Tell the audience what we need to do.
You know, I think first of all, don't be afraid of somebody with a disability. Because I think sometimes if somebody has not had much experience in interacting with a person with disability, they will tend to be reluctant to maybe talk to them and just kind of make that contact, because they might be afraid, like, what if I say something to hurt somebody's feelings, or what if I just say the wrong thing? Mm-hmm. And I just say, don't be afraid of that. You know, everybody would like to be acknowledged. Everybody wants to be treated with respect. And if you're speaking with somebody who has a disability, and perhaps maybe they are not the world's best communicator, or they might have some behaviors or something that are just a little bit different than what you're used to, just be relaxed about it and just be open to kind of asking again if you didn't understand something, or trying a different way to say something, and just being really open to sharing and to communicating.
Okay. Well, we're just about out of time, but I've got your info on the screen there.
Great.
So if people have any other questions or they want to find out more about Janus Developmental Services, Christina Sorensen, President and CEO, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
On Inside Indy, and we'll be back with more after this. And we're back here on Inside Indy, and we're going to be talking about the arts. It's called Carmel on Canvas, and I do mean that literally because we have someone here painting on canvas, and our artist today is Roy Boswell. And then we also have Dan McFeely with the City of Carmel. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Welcome, Roy.
It's good to be here.
All right, and we're going to talk about this wonderful event that's coming up when, Dan?
So it's coming up, I'll refer to my note here, September 13th, 14th, and 15th in the Arts and Design District and in the Midtown Plaza area of the City of Carmel.
Okay, so now tell folks what Carmel on Canvas is.
So Carmel on Canvas is, from a fan of arts perspective, is a great time to be able to go out on the streets of Carmel and walk up and down and see artists like him creating masterpieces as they paint various landscapes around the city. And they're doing it as part of a competition. It's what they call a plein air paint out. They are painting certain views, and then at the end of the event, they will compare, they will be judged, and I think the winner, the top prize is like $3,000. And so we have artists come from all over the country to take part in this. And but again, from a fan's perspective, what I love is walking down Main Street, and just about on every corner, and sometimes halfway through the corner, there's someone painting something that we look at every day, but they're putting a little bit of an artistic flair to it, and it's really cool. And many of the artists will stop what they're doing and talk to people, especially kids, and answer questions, and it's a great way to inspire young people to want to become artists.
Okay, so we have a little bit of that going on here in the studio today. Again, we have Roy Boswell, who is with the work in progress already. So what are we doing here today, Roy?
Well, this is a painting of Southwest Way Park. It's the furthest park in the corner, down the southwest corner of Marion County. And I like to take my daughters there, so I was going to finish this painting today.
Okay, wow. Well, it's looking good so far. And so what can we expect as you move along here?
Well, so I've already done like the big block end. I'm going to start going over it and then deconstructing it and keep reconstructing it. So I'll just go back and forth. It'll look sort of finished, and then I'll mess it all up, and then I'll try to basically bring the painting out of like this mist almost. So that's what I'll be doing.
So then we'll keep an eye on the painting, and then Dan and I will continue the conversation about the upcoming event and beyond. So how do people sign up for this, or are you already booked?
Well, I don't know if we're already booked yet, but people do sign up in advance. And I think one point I wanted to make is that he's been working on this painting here for quite some time probably, and he's really putting a lot of great touches, and it'll probably be beautiful when it's done. The difference is in our Carmel on Canvas, they come with a blank canvas. They start that day, and they have to be done that day. So they don't have the luxury of really thinking it through and stuff like that. What they have to do is kind of get in their mind what they want to paint. Here's a great example. I was driving down Rangeline Road one year, and a guy was actually painting a picture of a construction project. Now that doesn't seem like very sexy, does it? But it was the construction of a roundabout, and in the background was the big tall buildings where Carmel City Center is and Matt the Miller's. And it was just a really nice framed thing, and I believe he ended up winning the top prize that year, just because he captured a moment in time that will never exist again, because now the roundabout's done and people, they don't even remember what it used to look like. That's what's cool about this event, is because no matter where they're painting, no matter what angle they're painting, the way Carmel changes with new businesses and new buildings, it's really a snapshot in time, and you've got to capture that on that day, and then at the end of the day you're done, and then come Sunday the paintings, many of the paintings pop up for sale, and people will buy them and put them in their home, and helps instill a little bit of pride in the community.
Okay. So how do people register to be a participant?
So the City of Carmel hosts the event, and they have a group of artists who are already looking at doing that. So if anyone is interested in maybe participating this year, the woman who is doing this is a woman by the name of Kelly Prater, who I work with at the City of Carmel, and they have a website, carmeloncanvas.com.
Okay.
And if you go there, there would be information on how to register and how to participate in the event in other ways.
Okay. So we're going to go back to Roy and see how things are going with this gorgeous painting that he has, that he's working on. So now what's happened so far since we first started?
Well, I'm trying to overlay the darks and then kind of work from dark to light. The darks, usually want to have those fairly thin, and then as the light kind of falls down, I like to think of light coming from space and just hitting an object. So it's a lot thicker, and the paint's a lot juicier, so I'm really scraping stuff in right now, and that's kind of where I'm going.
Okay, it's funny because when I first turned around and I saw the black streak, and then now it makes sense what he's doing, but it takes a minute to kind of see it all come together. So, and you're painting from a picture.
Yeah, with this one, I started this in the studio. I had a lot of drawings that I had done on site, and then occasionally I'll bring them back home and work on them in my own studio. Like he was saying, there's the plein air, which is what we do at Carmel on Canvas, which is basically just all on site. It's really fast. You only have a couple hours before the light completely changes, and it's really testing, and it's fun to do. You can see who's really trying interesting stuff. Like you're saying, that was Leia Rudalik, the one the show a couple years ago, and that painting was phenomenal. So
It was really good.
Now, how long will it take from start to finish to do a painting like this for you? What's the total time?
It could take 4 or 5 hours, or it could take
Wow.
3 or 4 months, or a couple years, just depending on how much you wanted to keep breaking things down and building them back up.
Okay.
And whenever you feel like you're done, you're done.
Are you ever satisfied with a piece?
Occasionally, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The one that sells for a lot of money, huh? That's a big clue right there in terms of what what becomes your favorites in any case. So, Dan, for those who do want to sign up, is there a fee to participate?
I don't know. So the information is on the website. I don't
Okay.
know. You might ask.
Well, we can ask Roy.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
is there a fee for you to participate
Yeah.
in the event?
It's $40, and I think that's pretty much it, flat across the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But not a bad investment on what could be a big return, especially if they're pieces.
Right. City,
sell.
the city doesn't do this to make money off of that. We support the whole event financially, and there's really a kind of a hidden reason as to why we do an event like this. Number one, we have always wanted to establish our Arts and Design District as a go-to place, not just for fans of art, but for artists as well. We've always had around 9 or 10 galleries there, and that's been a mix of a commercial gallery where they work with painters, or sometimes it's the artists themselves that own the gallery. And we're trying to build this district, and we have built this district, and it's already very successful. This event brings in artists who may have never visited Carmel. They come in, they participate, maybe they win a little bit of money, but mostly they get to see what Carmel's all about, and hopefully will want to come back. Then they go home, maybe with some of their paintings, and they sell the paintings from wherever they're at, and they talk about Carmel in their community, and suddenly then you have other people saying, oh, I haven't been there, well, let's go to Carmel and check it out. So
Okay.
in a sense, it's about instilling pride in our landscaping and architecture of the Arts and Design District, which is beautiful. We're always adding little pieces of art here and there, but it's also about attracting people to Carmel who, you never know, you could someday attract someone who happens to be a CEO of a company and decides, you know what, I'm going to open up my business in Carmel too. And so there's a method to how we do this.
To your madness.
To the madness, that's right.
Okay, well, I think it's really cool. I'd love to participate myself. I just can't paint, but
Well, but there is amateur classes all the way up to professional classes. So even if you are not really good at painting, it's not that expensive to go, and they will stamp your canvas so that they know that you're part of the show, and then you can just go and try your hand at it.
So you don't necessarily have to be a professional painter.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We have amateurs that come up there, and we see lots of students too, from high school students to middle school students will come out, and maybe they've taken an art class and they just want to try their hand at it, and they participate as well. And sometimes they come up with absolutely beautiful things. Carmel is unique in that we try very hard to instill that sense of the love of arts from the very, very young to the very, very old. One of our community organizations is called the Carmel Arts Council, and they're the ones that own this tiny little museum in the center of town, and they always have like a children's art gallery there, and they invite students and classes to come in, and we display their paintings, and it's also that the children can be inspired to do something that they know is going to be hanging on a wall that people are going to look at, so they're going to really make an effort to make it look good, and that's it's all about instilling the arts.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, back to Roy. If we can get a shot of what he's doing so far, it'd be awesome. And it's looking really good. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Wow. Now, does this come naturally to you, or were you trained as a painter?
I think I have a natural inclination towards it, but I went to school for landscape architecture and design, so I really enjoyed design. And, I was a horrible employee. I think that's why I took up painting.
Okay, because I was getting ready to say, you love landscaping. I've got this yard that really can use your artistic genius to help me out with it. So
It is.
wow.
It is much funner to be outside than it is inside. And I think that's why a lot of people really enjoy plein air painting.
Okay, I love it. Well, again, Roy is just one of many, though you want to come see Roy when he's there doing his thing, but there'll be how many total artists? How many can participate?
I don't know if that's been finalized yet, but dozens of artists can come in. And the thing to remember is if you want to come on Sunday, that's when the art fair takes place. And the art fair is where a series of tents will be set up. And after the judging, the artists are able to put their paintings out for sale. And people can walk through and either admire the paintings or perhaps purchase one and take home. And that also happens to be on the very same day that a very popular event called Porch Fest is playing. So Porch Fest is outdoor music, in neighborhoods just north of this area, so they can walk through the tents, maybe buy a painting, and then walk right up into Porch Fest and listen to some music, drink a little vino, and enjoy the day.
All right, sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Yeah.
Dan McFeeling with the City of Carmel, and then we have Roy Boswell, who's our artist on the set today. And thank you so much, Roy. We appreciate you enlightening us. Wow, wow.
right.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's very good. Thank you both for being here on Inside Indy, and thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Vaughn. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.